Aye.
All right, so good evening. It's June 16th at 6:02, and we're going to start the June regular school board meeting. I want to thank you all, first of all, for your flexibility with moving it from Monday to Thursday. So guys, thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. We're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance, and then we'll take a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, a moment of silence. Amen. All right. All right.
Welcome to the June board meeting. Our first item is consent agenda. Are there any questions over the consent agenda?
Nope.
Okay, with that, I'd like to make the recommendation that the consent agenda, financial report, and board minutes of the regular board meeting held on May 9th, 2022, and the special board meeting held on June 9th, 2022 be approved as submitted.
All right, so we have a recommendation. Do we have a motion?
A motion?
All right, so we have a motion. A second?
Second.
We have a second. All right, all in favor? Any opposed? Also, we need to welcome Jessica.
Absolutely.
All right, Jessica Branham, welcome to the school board. Yay. Your second one and you're just now getting, so, yay. I forgot last time, my bad.
Up next, we have action items, and the first one's a little bit different, is approving a temporary dispersing officer. With the board election, with having the runoffs next week, and term lengths pushed back to July, the board needs to appoint a temporary dispersing officer to be in place until the July board meeting. And their duties include all of policy 1.16, but it's basically signing up on checks, electronic transfers, and the disbursement of funds. Ms. Purnell, would you like to say anything about that?
No, that's basically it. It's just reviewing our disbursements.
And we will, this is basically a 30-day commitment, and we'll redo that at the July meeting when we have a full one. But to be in compliance with rules and regs, I need a dispersing officer.
All right. Any nominees?
I don't mind.
Yep, I nominate Jessica.
All right. I second that. All in favor? Any opposed? Done. There you go, Jessica Branham.
Okay, up next is board meeting dates for the 22-23 school year, basically from July 2022 through June 2023. The district has always held its regular board meetings on the second Monday of each month. The dates presented to you for consideration align with that tradition. And of course, if y'all approve those dates, they'll all be held here at 6 p.m. And on the second Monday of the month, usually the August board meeting, we have a little problem with because that may be the first day of school. That is not the case this week.
Okay, that's what I was trying to look. I couldn't remember what the August.
8th is the second Monday, and the first day of school is August 15th, so that's actually a really good.
Okay, so that works
date
for you
to have.
guys.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that was the only one I was concerned about.
Are there any questions?
All right.
Okay, with that, I'd like to make the recommendation that we approve the board meeting dates for the 22-23 academic year as presented.
All right, so we have a recommendation. Do we have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
All right, John with the motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Jessica, second. All right, all in favor? Any opposed?
Up next, we have approved policy changes. ASBA on June the 1st sent us a few policy changes. A lot of them do not require board approval or anything, but there are a lot of rewording, changing names, acronyms, and things like that. But we need to have those in place before June 30th of this year. Are there any questions over those?
And these were all recommended by the state.
Yes, ma'am.
No. And you didn't have any concerns with any of them?
No, ma'am. I mean, the first one, it's literally changing the Apple program to AR PEP.
Instead of
But we
Apple?
just- Yes, ma'am.
Okay. so we,
With that, I'd like to make the recommendation that we approve the school policies as presented.
all right, we have a recommendation. Do we have a motion?
I'll motion.
Do we have a second? I'll second. All right, all in favor? Any opposed? Any conversation? All right, we're good.
All right, next is some MOUs. The first one is with Surratt Therapy. We have used them for the past 2 years for OT, PT, and various services, therapy services like that. We're very pleased with them, but we renew that every year, so are there any questions on that?
And it's just a one-year commitment, right?
Yes, ma'am. Every year it's a 1-year commitment.
Any
And-
concerns?
No, ma'am, none at all.
Okay,
Any questions?
anybody? Okay,
Okay, with that, I would like to make the recommendation that we approve the MOU with Surratt Therapy Services for the 22-23 school year.
all right, so we have a recommendation. Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Jessica with the motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, any conversation? All in favor? Any opposed? All right,
Next, we'd like to extend this MOU to cover a little bit more. It's Project 479. Project 479, it's been a part of the district for several years with our ALE program. You know, they provide life skill development, connections with the community through entrepreneurial opportunities and lunch and learn sessions with professionals in our community. What we're wanting to do is expand these services beyond our current ALE students to include our pre-ALE students. And I know we have Coach Neal here and Miss Bryant. Miss Bryant, I cannot remember your first name, but Miss Bryant, Miss Beth Bryant, here to talk about that if y'all have any questions. So, Coach Neal?
Thank you guys for the opportunity to speak today. We're excited about all the movement we've got in alternative learning, and we've had an opportunity to bring in an awesome resource for our kids. And so Beth and I got together over the last couple of months and really worked out a plan to present to y'all today, and bringing in Project 479 and bringing in a project room for our kids to utilize as a tool. And so what Project 479 is basically a project room where kids can express themselves and work through some of the behavior issues that we're seeing inside our alternative learning programs. And so we're trying to be able to provide a service and provide a tool for our kids 5th through 12th grade to be able to come into the project room, work with our Project 479 staff, and be able to work on those communication skills, work on those barriers that they're needing to overcome, and being able to complete our goal of transitioning back into the general education class and help them be successful within the classroom. So I'm super excited about this program. Beth and I have been doing a lot of hard work, and it's kind of tying in the full circle of the work that we've been doing in alternative learning. And so I was going to read off their mission statement so you guys could hear it. Is to provide a safe environment where young people are creatively empowered to develop their full potential and discover their worth and value. And so we're looking to house this out of the industrial shop building, which is right next to alternative learning right now. It's centrally located for all 3 campuses, so middle school, junior high, and then our high school students are in our building in this function. So we will be centrally located there. We will also be providing staff during that time, so we will have either a certified or a classified staff with our kids at all times. Beth is providing 2 staff members every day, 4 to 5 days a week. And so during normal school operating hours, it's grant funded, no cost to school, which we love to hear. So it's too good of an opportunity for us to turn down. And we're excited to extend this and hopefully grow it. And I think another thing that me and Ms. Taylor have been working on is this is really for alternative learning, but we're trying to be preventative and extend that out to our tier 2 kids that are being identified early and help them before they move on to alternative learning. And so as we grow and we get proficient in scheduling and we're utilizing the program as it's intended to be used, is that we'll start to dive into those tier 2 kids and really be preventative and help those kids before they get over to ALE. So identifying them. Any questions? And this is Ms. Beth Black.
So I do have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So how many kids do you have, or how many students will you have in that class, or is it just optional or suggested?
So what we're planning on doing is taking our students throughout the school day as they are in alternative learning setting or their classroom, and scheduling in where they're going out for an hour at a time. Now, to tell you that I have the exact schedule within that day, I'm waiting on building principals to do that, because I gotta build that within our ALE schedule. So that's not exact, but what we're doing is we're gonna take each grade level or building, so we have middle level that's together, so 5th and 6th grade, they will have a class time with Ms. Beth. And so their aide will take them up, they will have that time to work on their projects. Ms. Beth, if you would like to elaborate on some of those projects, that might give them a good idea what they're gonna be doing. But they're going to have, then we'll look at attacking 7th grade and 8th grade and kind of moving those during their ALE time slots.
So you're not going to mix fifth with high school kids?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope, no, they will be out there, and sometimes, like, it won't be a full class, it'll be where their staff is working with 2 kids at a time, and it'll be a small group setting where they can really work on those fine-tuned skills that those kids need to be working on.
So how does that work for kids who are transitioning out of ALE? Are they still going to be in Project 479 or?
So, yeah, we're gonna try to make sure that we still utilize that resource within there. Everything that we've seen when kids transition, they still are tied to us.
Right.
The goal is to
Okay,
fully
good.
transition, but we're trying to do that on a year basis or
Okay.
semester basis. And so we're not gonna be able to do that after 2 or 3 weeks. And obviously, we're gonna build the kids within the ALE environment, but also we still stay connected.
Okay,
And so, that's a good question. I think that as long as they're there, we want to try to keep them there and keep growing those skills, because as a 5th and 6th grader, it's not just going to change in a week.
Right.
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 That was my concern, was we get them started and integrated, and then all of a sudden, oh, you're out of
No, I
ALE, see you
don't-
later.
I don't think we just pull the pacifier out immediately. So,
Okay,
yeah, we want to work through that. And I think it also depends on the kid-to-kid basis and how they're growing and learning and when they're ready. And we'll utilize them as well to see what they're saying. We'll be able to collaborate with another organization and work together as staff and what they see. And so will the classroom staff.
so the grant covers 1 year?
No,
It's just like any MOU, we'll review
Right.
it annually.
Okay.
And so the grant, while they receive a grant through their organization, the RCI Inc., this is one of the pieces of their holistic grant.
Okay,
And so every year we'll, just like we do with Ozark Guidance or any service, like
Sure.
we just did with Surratt, we'll review the MOU
Okay.
annually.
Sure.
What worked, didn't work, and we'll come together. to talk
perfect,
about it.
okay, awesome.
would you like to go over some of the projects that you guys are involved in?
Well, we do, it's a very organic program. I have with me my program manager, Chad Benbrook, and he is quite gifted in all things, whether they're learning to sew, whether they're learning to build, to paint, to sketch. We try to have the room filled with just a variety of things that students come in and see what catches them, what is their spark. And then we work on it together. And we help kids gain confidence through learning those skills that maybe they didn't realize that they were brilliant in an area before. Maybe they felt like that they don't succeed in certain areas, and we try to find them that area that they can succeed in. We help them build assets that will help them thrive when they get back into that regular setting. And just the confidence building that we see in young people when they realize that they're gifted at something is really important. And so we've been doing this, we've been doing our regular classroom programs now for 21 years. And our Project 479, we've been doing with alternative schools for the last 11 years. And so this is something that, again, we'd like to invite you as a board, if y'all approve this, come sit in, see what the kids are doing. Each year in the Rogers School District, we do a Christmas bazaar, and what the students build or what they make, they sell. They get to go through the whole thing of producing a product, advertising that product, manning their booth, the sale of that product, and then they keep 100% of the proceeds that they make from that to help their family through the Christmas holidays. And it's really important to see the growth that they have when they begin to learn those skills. Then they want to take that knowledge and they want to take the proceeds from that, and they want to bless somebody else. So again, we'd love to invite you to come down and just check out what's going on and how kids are learning in that organic manner.
Beth is a Pea Ridge native, so we're excited to bring the program into Pea Ridge. And so, any
Awesome.
other questions?
No,
Thanks
but
for all
that's
your
a
hard work.
great
Yeah, thank you very
idea.
much. I love
Thank
it.
you.
All right, with that, I'd like to make the recommendation that we approve the MOU for Project 479 for the 22-23 academic year.
All right, so we have a recommendation. Do we have, yeah, I said
You
it
got it
right
right,
this
you got it
time.
right.
I'm doing pretty good tonight. We have a recommendation. Do we have a motion?
I'll take the motion.
Absolutely. Oh,
Okay, so who wants to do it?
I'll do the motion.
Okay, who wants to second?
I definitely.
All right, all in favor? All right.
All right. Up next, we have our agreement with Ms. Bates. Ms. Bates currently helps us with our students who are blind and visually impaired. We've been using her for several years, and a couple of years, and we would like to continue to use her services. Again, this will be for the 22-23 academic year. Any questions?
No.
No.
Okay, with that, I'd like to make the recommendation, we approve the agreement with Ms. Cecilia Bates.
All right, so we have a recommendation. Do we have a motion?
Motion?
Do we have a second?
Second.
Sorry, guys, until we get a full board, it's basically going to be me, John, and Jessica. So, all right, so we have a second. All in favor? Any opposed? All right.
All right, up next, we have Student Services Report and Mr. Ranger.
Food service has an ending balance for the month of May of $523,733.94. So our balance continues to be healthy in food service. We are in the process of soliciting our bids for the 22-23 school year. We'll bring those bids to the board in in July for approval. And so we do anticipate, like everything else, the cost to be increased with shipping and freight and diesel and everything else. But we're waiting to see what those numbers come back, and we'll bring them to you in the July board meeting. We will also, at the July board meeting, we will bring to you what we would like to set for prices for breakfast and lunch at the July board meeting. So those two things will be coming to you next month. So just so we can prepare there. And we're still waiting on some guidance from Child Nutrition as to what that looks like, but we'll have it by the July school board meeting. Other than that, summer lunch has begun. We're feeding between 30 and 40 for breakfast each morning, 50 to 60 about each day for lunch. It fluctuates just depending on what camps or what groups stop by. I think we had as many as 140 one day for lunch. So you never know what will come by. We did get slowed down. They were doing some road work on Weston Street here towards the end of last week that slowed us down just a little bit because it made it more difficult to get to the middle school. And so as we continue with, I think we've got volleyball and cheer camp next week, and then a space camp coming in July. So we'll see our participation numbers kind of fluctuate up and down depending on what events we have on campus.
Now, I know the last week in June, first week in July are dead weeks for sports. Do we still continue to serve breakfast during those 2 weeks?
We do,
And lunch?
except for right around July 4th. If
Okay.
you remember, we're taking some time off there, and then we'll continue back.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Other than that, on the maintenance front, we are continuing getting, school ready for the 22-23 school year. We've completed, our first project that was completed was paving behind the intermediate school, all that kind of road work right in there by pre-K and down the hill. It's done, and it is, it's night and day different. It's kind of a blessing.
Yeah, it is.
With the potholes and
Have you
issues
been up
that we
there?
had, it's really made a difference. And so it's something that you notice immediately. But PaintCon did that work for us. They're also the group that did the work at the primary school a year ago. And so we've been pleased with both projects.
And the trash truck hasn't ruined it already?
Not yet.
Yeah.
We are continuing with our floor care and our building care, replacing ceiling tiles, updating, working on stripping and waxing our floors. We've got those dead periods coming up for athletics, and so we'll be working on some gym floors during that time, getting all that stuff done here in the next couple of weeks. And then our guys are just working through the work orders that they have received since April and May, and into the school year. So we're moving a lot of furniture and spending a lot of times in buildings right now. We had Joplin Floors come. They did laid LVT in the 2 pre-K classrooms for us, and then in the hallway behind the pre-K, that work has all been completed. and looks really good. It's the same flooring that we put in our libraries last year.
Okay.
And so it's all identical. It matches everything that we've done, and that group did really good work. We're pleased there as well. We are continuing with our ESG project. We're still working on HVAC. We're waiting on coils to come in. They feel real confident that they will have the HVAC portion done by the time school starts. And then Queen City's working on the roofing. And so we are, I believe Mr. Martin and myself meet with them every other week. And so we're continuing with progress, and we get updates every other Tuesday. Queen City has been on site, they're working. It's probably too early to tell if are we ahead or behind. They're just kind of progressing. They've sectioned off the roof in different sections, and they're working on section J. They haven't started A, B, C, D yet, but they're working on J, so I don't know. But they are continuing with their project and going through it. And then we are finalizing all of our annual inspections that must be closed out and done by June 30th. And so Mr. McNabb and Mr. Hoyt have been working on those. We've got our final inspection scheduled for the 21st. Those will be completed, and then we'll be done there. So.
And we're doing safety inspections too, right?
Yeah, our gas pressure testing, boilers, fire extinguishers.
Okay.
Sprinkler systems,
Everything.
mandated by the state. We've got to get them done. And so we're going through our list and having all those completed.
Any
Okay.
concerns or anything that needs to be replaced so far?
We've had some things that, like some vent hoods and things that we've had to get corrected and stuff. And so, as they've found those areas, we've noted them, created a work order, and we're addressing those immediately, so we'll be ready for school. Yes, ma'am. That's all I got.
Okay.
All right.
Any questions? Okay, up next, we have curriculum and instruction. You know, this is the meeting each year that we do a little spending, and I've heard some curriculum purchases. So, Ms. Tabor, first we have our Wit and Wisdom, which is what we use through Great Minds for our literacy. We've been using it for the past 2 years. That purchase price is for $36,800. It's student guidebooks, it's consumables that you use each year, workbooks and things like that, and also I would call the license for the teacher resources that they have online. Do y'all have any questions about that?
Were there any concerns from the teachers continuing Wit and Wisdom?
No, and we had some grade levels, one reason the cost was a little more this year, we had some grade levels that had opted out of workbooks the previous year, decided they wanted to use them because they were a little more engaging and helpful for the students.
Okay.
Okay.
We feel like that's working.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
So with that, I'd like to make the recommendation that we purchase literacy resources from Great Minds in the amount of $36,800.
All right, so we have a recommendation. Do we have a motion? I'll make a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any questions, comments? All right, all in favor? Anybody opposed? All right.
Up next, well, we just did literacy, next comes math. And again, it's for consumables and additional teacher resources. You know, we're adding teachers, adding classrooms, need more resources. And so with that, it comes at the price of $42,775. We've actually been using illustrative math longer than we have Wit and Wisdom, and are seeing some very positive results with that. Ms. Tabor, you got anything?
No, other than same thing on that one, we had some grade levels that opted into workbooks this year after watching other grade levels use them, so we've kind of highlighted that at different grade levels.
Yeah, it's nice not to hit print. You know how that, yeah.
Okay.
It's much cheaper, Ms. Burnell can
Yes,
attest
it
to it, much cheaper to buy the student workbook than printing the piece.
Okay. All
My
right.
concern is, can we start seeing some of the pricing from prior
Oh,
years?
absolutely.
That way, whenever
Sure.
we're submitting all these,
Yeah.
everybody, they're
Yes.
understanding the influx.
Sure, and some of these, like the one we're gonna get to, with some of them, they've actually gone over the threshold of a micro purchase. And because it used to be, it's $20,600, I think $4, it's an odd number. And, I had to say the inflation's starting to creep in, and so some of these purchases have not been approved in the past because they were under that threshold, but absolutely, we can get that to you. So with that, I'd like to make the recommendation that we purchase illustrative math with Kendall Hunt in the amount of $42,775.
All right, so we have a recommendation. Do we have a motion?
Motion?
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any comments, concerns? All in favor? Any opposed?
Up next is actually an addition to what we've been doing in the past, and it's really neat. I'll let Ms. Tabor talk about that for a bit.
Sure. We had the opportunity during one of our professional learning days for our CTE teachers to engage in this resource. It's from a company called Transfer, and it's not a misspelling. That's another company name. It's a virtual reality training program where students are like, I did it, I know Coach Neal did, you learn how to change oil in a vehicle, but it was all virtual reality. And so the students go through modules where they complete these training pieces. It corrects you if you're wrong, it tests you out of certain areas. And then when the students finish certain modules after a period of time, they get a certificate that then tells them you've completed the training to then go and take a certification exam. And so we're hoping to build our certifications for our CTE programs. We can also use it, it has career exploration built into it, so we can use it as young as grades 5 to explore the career. And then in our upper coursework, actually doing the hands-on training through virtual reality. And so our college and career counselor was able to connect us to this resource. We piloted, tested it out through the Northwest Arkansas Council. They have some devices. And so we're hoping to use that to really support and build some of our programs.
So does this include the devices that we,
That's, so the cost of the you see there, $25,000 is for the virtual reality devices and the curriculum and the teacher training and the support throughout the year. So they provide us that support all year long with those devices, maintain the devices. We're actually purchasing a license to use the device so that they maintain them because they're really expensive, and the updates to them. And so each year we'll be able to adjust our number of licenses, and they update their programming as well.
So how many devices are we getting for $25,000?
We will get access to 5, but the modules cover 13 career areas.
And that's in each device has 13 career areas?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yep.
And also, correct me, the group that went, Ms. Thomas and Ms. Jackson went to the co-op to the initial training with the workforce, and they were able to see that you can, while I may have on the goggles, I think there's a capability to also project what I'm seeing up so the whole class can see it.
Yes.
So there's
Sure.
some neat
Okay.
piece. So I may be doing the actual certification, like the oil change example, where I'm going through and proving I have the skill, but my classmates can watch it every time they pass the goggles, so to speak.
So then, once they pass this and they pass the exam and get the certification, are they going to be able to take that to something like NTI and further if that's the path that they choose to go?
Right, so the program itself, it's almost like saying, I took the class, now I need to go to a testing company that would actually administer the test. So it's giving them almost a pass to take the test, essentially.
Okay, so they're not going to have to get further education in order to take the test. This is
In some
allowing.
cases, it's got different entry points.
Sure.
Okay.
Some certifications require more education.
Okay.
and training than others.
Okay.
But it provides them an entry point to those certifications.
Perfect. Okay. Awesome.
All
All right.
If this is going as low as grades 5, what grades are we putting in it now?
We don't currently have this resource.
But what grades will we put it in?
Oh, so I'm sorry. So our plan is Ms. Thomas is going to kind of coordinate or facilitate the use of the devices. And she will use them as career exploration in grades 5 to really 8. And then when we have our actual CTE programs that start out in 9th grade, that's where they will be used more often. In a sense, it's less of an exploration and more of some coursework that's built into the class.
ALE uses.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, that's cool.
So
Okay.
think of it as when we first started getting laptops or
Yeah.
Chromebooks, we had them all in carts, and teachers would take turns having the cart in their room during their special times or projects. And so it'd be kind of the same thing where Miss Thomas, the college and career counselor, is managing that checkout. So maybe the 5th grade has it for this time, then it goes, so it'll be going throughout the district, and that's the beauty of the headsets is the mobility. You're not tied down to a big bulky system.
Until every student gets a headset.
Until you kind of, everybody gets, oh yeah,
That'll be
in our dreams, but anyway, but that's
You get a
And
headset.
so you're not buying, for example, a diesel truck to demonstrate diesel engines.
Correct.
Which is hundreds of thousands of
Right.
dollars you're letting kids. It also allows kids on their own to explore careers we could never offer courses in.
Okay.
Absolutely.
That's
But
great.
the focus is that right now it's gonna stay in between fifth to eighth grade until,
It'll be 512 next year, and it'll be really a scaffolded model, and that 5 through 8 will be not a full-time kind of access, it'll be built in, a rotation.
Just like-
For exploration. Our 9 through 12 teachers, they'll have more access to it, because it'll be built into their curriculum along the way.
so we're only getting 5 devices though.
Yes, and so for example, like Ms. Markfield said, it might be one device in a class one day that we're all sharing, that I'm using and the class is watching and giving me feedback. And so we have some flexibility in how we use them. They don't all have to travel together.
And we'll disinfect them as we pass them around.
And then what do we foresee if this is something after this first year pilot? What do we see future costs being?
The future cost is something that we're kind of working with the company. They have some resources that provide some grant funding,
Sure.
things like that. So, but we also have, the Northwest Arkansas Council has 5 devices as well, and so we're hoping to partner with them to on some events be able to double our numbers. So we're gonna test it out this year with these 5 and see how it goes, and then do some possible grants,
Okay.
if we want to expand it, or if we see that 5 is sufficient, based on the usability of them.
And how are we going to rate success rate? Like, if this is something we want to continue, what are we going to be looking for?
Right, I've tasked Ms. Thomas with trying to decide how to schedule it out, right? And say, I want every student to experience it, and this is what I want them to get out of it. It does not cover all of our courses, and so trying to then specify, in this class, we want this many students to get enough training to take that certification exam. It might be different by course area, so we're gonna work with teachers
Okay.
and with Ms. Thomas to set goals for each area.
Okay. All right.
Any more?
Any more questions? Comments?
Good.
All right, Mr. Martin?
With that, I'd like to make the recommendation that we approve the purchase of the CTE Transfer VR Career Exploration and Certification Training Program and devices from Transfer in the amount of $25,000.
For one school year is all we're voting
Yes, ma'am.
for. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry, for the 22-23 academic year.
All right, so we have a recommendation. Do we have a motion? I'll make a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second. Any concerns, questions, comments? All right, all in favor? Any opposed? All right.
All right, up next, we have a renewal of our New Zealand curriculum. It's what we use in social studies and science. It's been beneficial to our social studies and science teachers to have something this Tabor. Would you like to say
Sure.
anything about it?
Newsella is an online resource that provides current events. It pulls news articles from Associated Press and packages them in content areas so that teachers can go in and match it to what their standards are. But it provides informational text, which is something that our kids, we really need to build our skills in, is reading that informational text. We're going to see it on the ACT, we're going to see it on the Aspire. And so it helps the science and social studies teacher find relevant text in their content areas. It provides some lesson plans and some writing prompts that go with it. You can adjust it for Lexile level so that the same article can be used in 5th grade and in 8th grade with an adjustment of the reading level of it.
Any questions? What grades? I'm sorry.
We use Newsella, it's actually a K-12 resource.
Okay.
It's mainly used in 3 through 12.
Okay.
Any questions? Okay, with that, I'd make the recommendation that we renew the service and purchase of New Zealand in the amount of $20,900 for the 22-23 academic year.
All right, so we have a recommendation. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second. Any questions, comments? All in favor? Any opposed?
The $20,900 is a prime example of just going over the bid threshold. Last on the list is Edgenuity, and Edgenuity is what we use for our virtual program for grades 7 through 12. Ms. Conner uses it. What's it now?
612.
Oh, I'm sorry, 6 through 12, said the wrong word on that, Ms. Tabor.
Sure. It's also available as a resource to all of our teachers. They all have access to it to pull from for resources, videos that they could use in class. Currently using it with our students in summer school for credit recovery. So we have a variety of uses for it, which makes it really nice. It's our main platform though for our secondary virtual program.
Any questions?
Do we have any concerns with Edgenuity? I know the year we launched it, we had some issues. We got that all resolved. Do we have any concerns with
You
this
know,
program?
We are getting better at, just like any instructional resource, at learning how to monitor and adjust and make sure we curate the content from the teacher level. And that's something that our virtual teachers have worked really hard on. So we've had a very smooth year with Edgenuity this year.
So if we were to ask the virtual teachers, they would absolutely want to move forward with Edgenuity and,
If we had to have a virtual platform, Edgenuity is one of the most user-friendly for our teachers.
okay. And we've,
It has the most robust amount of content in it.
and we've got all the kinks worked out. So if parents have concerns, they know who to contact and who to go to get all that resolved.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Any other questions?
How often is it updated, the material updated?
They
Software.
update courses on a yearly basis. I just met with them last week, and they update and add to the number of courses we have access to, but then also the content within the courses.
And the training for the teachers?
They have, what's really nice about most of these is they have on-demand training webinars that teachers can access at any time. And then we also get yearly professional development. And we get immediate contact and updates from, they call them success representatives, making sure that we're successful in our use of their resource. And so they check in with us, show us the data related to the use, and kind of pinpoint areas to better support along the way.
It also allows us to, say there's a specific course that a student offers that's outside of our range and scope. Maybe we don't have a French teacher per se, but someone wanted to take French. This also allows students that are full-time, face-to-face, even add on to the learning. For example, last year we had a student who used this curriculum to do the pharmacy prep, and then she went on and took the certification exam and came up a pharmacy technician all on her own. So it allows for some independent extension that we couldn't, you know.
And there's no additional cost for that?
No. it's
That's
all
kind of cool.
No, we have open access to any course that's available in their content, or in their curated content, so it's really nice to be able to do that.
And you said in-class teachers are able to use this as well? So are they using this instead of teaching the curriculum?
No, they use it in a blended model, so they might show the video that would be in Edgenuity, and have a class discussion, and then the students might take the quiz within the platform. And so it's, in a sense, they're facilitating the
Right.
learning,
Okay.
using the Edgenuity resource.
So it's not something that they're just doing over here?
No,
Okay.
it became very useful when we had a lot of remote learning.
Okay.
And so we've kept it for those teachers that found value in it. We don't have many using it in their face-to-face classes, but we do have a few that, especially, you know, if they find an area that's more difficult or more challenging for kids, it provides another, almost like homework help. You know,
Okay.
I'm gonna be able to go home and watch these videos and get help when my teacher is in class as well.
And then have we sent any surveys out to parents who have used this to see if they have feedback?
Yes, we actually sent home in the parent survey that went out, there was a whole, if you selected, you probably didn't, but if you selected as a parent, I have a virtual learning student, we had questions addressed
Perfect.
specifically to the platform.
Awesome. Okay. All right. Any other comments or
And the other
questions,
features of virtual school.
concerns? All right. Mr. Martin?
With that, I'd like to make the recommendation that we approve the purchase of Edgenuity for the next calendar year, next year's academic year, in the amount of $28,000.
One other question. Do we have to pay, in addition to that, are there additional charges that come for anything
No, ma'am.
on that
The price-
platform? That's all inclusive?
The price is the price.
Okay, awesome. Sorry. I just thought about that. All right, here we go. So we have a recommendation. Do we have a motion? Motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. All in favor? Any opposed? All right.
Up next on the agenda is our audit for ending last fiscal year, June 30, 2021. You know, we had a clean audit from the Legislative Joint Auditing Committee, no findings. The results, and you know, that sounds so easy and everything. It is not. It's the collective effort of everyone in our district, from everyone who takes in a receipt for someone turning in $5 for a field trip, to POs, fixed assets, payroll, HR, accounts payable, purchasing cards, procedures, segregation of duties, Miss Burnell, Jen Jacobs, Danielle, Amy, all of them. Everyone in the district does an amazing job with that to make sure that our district's resources, because it's not always just money. It's, fixed assets. Well, if something costs more than $1,000, but we have it there. That our resources are used correctly and that they are accounted for. So we're very proud of having a clean audit with no findings. Ms. Brunel, do you have anything to add?
No, other than I'd like to reiterate what you said is we couldn't have a clean audit without the staff. They do a great job of following our policies and procedures, and so that helps us get this clean audit every year.
Well, guys, thank you very much for your efforts to everybody. We appreciate it.
Any questions? I mean, I know that's some good reading.
It is wonderful reading. If you take the time or you need something to help you sleep,
And it will be posted soon to the district website.
it will be. It will be available. It will be available soon.
So with that, I'd like to make the recommendation that we approve the audit for fiscal year ending June 30, 2021.
All right, so we have a recommendation. Do we have a motion?
Make a motion.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Any opposed?
All right, up next is our salary schedule. Every year, we have to approve our salary schedule. Y'all have already approved all the changes to be placed on the salary schedule, but we need to formally approve the salary schedule. So what you have before you are the highlighted areas that were approved at the May meeting. Are there any questions? Okay, with that, I would like to make the recommendation that we approve the salary schedules for the 2022-2023 school year.
All right, so we have a recommendation. Do we have a motion? I'll make a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Any opposed?
Ms. Hawthorne, up next is personnel, so I'd like to ask that we go into close.
So it is 6:44. We're going to go into executive session.